Banana slam jam.
Welcome back, everybody. We got one of my signature heroes for this replay. We got a 1.6k Meepo replay. Kappa, he said, did not decide on this game because it was sort of a stomp. I decided beforehand that I wanted to play a game that I would submit for review no matter how it went, so I would think it would through from the pick phase to execution. Not saying I played my best, but I tried to at least. Game. I don't think I last hit very well, but I was satisfied with my farming patterns. Other than that, I effed up every stack I wanted to do, I think. I do get an awkward feeling when the wave is pushing under enemy tower, as I usually end up with a slingshotting type of lane. Doesn't feel like I managed to contest that many denies, and I also hesitate to run back and block. I also go for a more aggressive build with a semi-rush blink and start chasing kills this game. It's been sort of successful, but I sometimes feel like I'm losing sight of main objectives. This game, it was a winning strategy, but from time to time it ends up not working very well either. Background, I'm a first-time subscriber, played Dota for about a year and a half, and this is as high as I've ever been in MMR. Managed a random Meepo in a single draft on ranked once, found it quite funny, and hard as fuck, so I decided to start practicing since I also find it very hard to play against Meepo. Figured it'd be good if I could hopefully gain some MMR. Yeah, man, Meepo, you're probably a better Meepo player than I am, so, in terms of mechanics. So let's check out what we talk about with Meepo. This is the first time I've ever reviewed a Meepo game, but we'll just mainly talk about the concepts of things, little inefficiencies or whatever that we can work on. You know, that's about all I can go for. Definitely like your attitude towards the game. Let's see what you got for us. So what you can do on creeps like this is right when these creeps are about to meet, so you're not tanking them anymore, you can like walk forward. Like right now, you can walk at the sniper. This is like a basic of mid that I want you guys to learn. Because what this is you have a poof that's like a threat. So like if you're right here and you're like pump faking your poof, or like you're walking at him and threatening him, if he stays to try to deny, you poof. If he backs off, you get a free hit. You get a free last hit, right? So you have this ability that's like a threat, and you can give this guy the option to either take the damage and try to like deny, or walk away and you get a free last hit. So this is something I kind of posed in my last YouTube video from Batrider, but you leave these guys in a really awkward spot where if they hit you, you just poof, and they take more damage than you dealt, or than you took. Something to think about there, little minor aggressions. So like right here, it's the same thing. Like when you aggro into your tower here, you need to position yourself here, poofing. Like notice how you're positioned back here, poofing. This is something that if you're going to play a lot of Meepo, you could work on. You kind of did it right there, but what happens here is the idea behind the poof, if you're going to constantly work on Meepo, is this guy has backed off. This guy is not going for this deny. Look. He thinks you're poofing. So that's when you cancel the poof and you hit the creep. So what you just did right here is exactly what I want to see, and if the guy backs off, you just kill the creep with a right click. And if he doesn't back off, you poof. So this may seem like, I don't know if this seems advanced, but this is something that you guys at the lower levels need to grasp. This ability to threaten people with your abilities, where they don't want to fuck with you during that second. And it's like a basic thing that if you're playing Meepo every fucking game, you can start working on. I want to see you threatening the poof. The threat of the poof is stronger than the poof itself. Just like I talked about with the Omni Slash with Juggernaut in my Smurf game. Okay.
Blood is on the ground, and we're already looking for more.
So what I need you to think about every time this shit happens, this is how laning works. This is the thought that you can learn for yourself, and it's going to take development over time. You need to understand that this creep, you need to first check, is it below half? Like you need to look at it and say, is it below half? Because that means it's deniable. So if that means it's deniable, that means you are now on a timer. Your positioning has to be within however many attacks it takes him to kill. So you have to make a guess. It's like, I think it's going to be 2 attacks or 3 attacks. And you have to be close enough to this creep to get it if he attacks it like that. If you back off any further than that, you're out of position. So this is something that you can learn for laning about positioning. By the way, all these things you need to practice one at a time. Please do not overwhelm yourself. And if you're going to spam Meepo, that's fine. Notice how you backed off, and by the time he right-clicks it 3 times, you were too late. It's just something you need to start thinking about every single game. That's the only way it's going to get better. Practice. It's something that comes with practice. But if you're aware that you have to be thinking about it, it'll just be learned faster. That was good positioning there. Okay.
I used to be a Meepo player until I decided to stop torturing myself, lol.
Yeah, you're definitely not going for denies enough. But I think learning to threaten your own CS first will be important. I don't know how I feel about the bracer. I don't think people do this. It doesn't really accelerate your game. Like the stats it gives to your Meepos. But maybe it's good. I'm not actually sure. I feel like I usually see like double Wraith Band. Don't see Meepo too much nowadays, but...
Nope.
Okay.
Dire's turret has been killed. You never saw me, alright?
Okay. That's what you mentioned in the replay. So you need to get a better sense, and I need you to know that this is something you need to get a better sense of like what it costs you and how much it benefits you to occupy the lane. So right now you have your Meepo. Your one Meepo's full mana, and both of them are full health. And you just choose to give this sniper a completely free wave. I'm just asking you, with your health and mana, and his status as a hero, health and mana-wise, does it feel bad, inefficient for you to farm this creep wave? Because at the end of the day, if you can farm a creep wave without it feeling like a burden to you, it's like always more efficient than jungling. The only time where creep farm in the lane becomes more inefficient is say you're against like a Monkey King or some shit, and if you walk up for this creep wave, you're taking a bajillion damage, right? And he's just bullying you away, and then you have to walk away. So what I need you guys to understand better, or at least start beginning to gauge, is if I walk up to this creep wave, what's it going to cost me? Because usually it's going to cost you more than it costs you to go to that jungle camp, right? Because you're going to be interacting with enemy heroes. And I think this is a perfect example where you should just be laning. Like, I would just kill this creep wave right here. But then, we're going to fast forward to later. Notice what you did there. That's what you should do before, I think. Because you're just giving him a creep wave uncontested. That's what you did. And I want you to know that giving people a creep wave uncontested is, like, really bad, and you always want to avoid it. So here you chose to go on him, and I want you to notice what happened. This is how you get better at Dota. What happened here? He double shrapneled me, and I took a ton of damage, and I was forced to back off. So at that point, earlier, you chose to just let it go. Like, you didn't make him shrapnel or anything. Like, you just let him have the creep wave. But then here, you took a ton of damage and you overcommitted. So these are the type of things when you're newer to Dota that you're just going to mess it up. You don't know matchups all that well sometimes. You don't know power spikes. But you guys need to start paying attention to like how much you gain or lose from farming the creep wave. So like here, I think it would have made more sense for you to like jungle this small camp and then go defend underneath your tower. Maybe that's because Sniper's level 6. Maybe it's level 3 shrapnel. Maybe you need more items. Why? You know, what is it? What is causing you to not want to lane? Okay. So like if you want to come back to the wave and just defend against the catapult, that's fine. You're gonna TP back to the base. Okay, oh, use the illusion around. Okay, that's cool. Yeah. So Meepo is definitely all about accelerating his own game. You're gonna push out the creep wave now. You're gonna farm the camps. telling you, man. You're 1K. Now's the time to do it. You gotta tread switch, my man. Just gotta do it. Not much more to it than that. I gotta see tread switching. If you want to spam a hero, you want to be really good at a hero, I better see some tread switching. You just need to go into like 10 games and say, I'm gonna tread switch every fucking spell that I'm farming. Every single time you do it here. I need to see it 100% of the time. Why are you doing it now and not before? That's so strange. I'm now seeing you do it. Okay. Seems pretty reasonable. You're rotating between lane and jungle. It seems like you adjusted properly to the last time you engaged with Sniper. But you see Sniper top now. So this is a big difference here for mid laners. So I need you to remember, why aren't you laning? Why? Right? You're not laning because last time you showed up in lane, the Sniper bullied you out. So I need you to farm this creep camp, see the Sniper top, and I need you to bolt back to fucking mid. Right now. Right now. Nothing happens between now and the time I go back to mid. Very big efficiency / pressure thing that you guys need to get in the habit of. Okay, they just let you have a bounty on top. That's cool. Okay. Yeah, looks like you're having a pretty good game. You decide to go for an early blink. I guess you want to be more active. Let's see what your playstyle does with it. Enemy team is fighting. You decide to show up. Okay. So the beauty of Meepo is that usually, most heroes, when you get kills, immediately after you get the kills, you have to decide whether or not you're pushing the tower or you're leaving. And so it's like, I want you to think, like, if I was a normal hero, if I stayed top and the opponent respawns and defends, that's, like, super awkward for me. But the beauty of Meepo is that every time people respawn, they're going to immediately show you what they're doing. So, like, what if the opponent respawns and just TPs 2 people bottom? You want to take that top tower, right? So what am I getting at? What I'm getting at is, you can do both. You can leave one Meepo top in case they don't go back top, and then you can just run all your other Meepos back to farming or back to mid. But instead, you're not really abusing the fact that Meepo can do 2 things. So, like, what if you could just kill this Meepo or this Treant again top? Maybe, you know? Okay, so you're going to farm the jungle. Just something to think about. You're being active. You're running around the map. You're farming with your secondary Meepos in the jungle and your main Meepos on the map. Makes sense. Okay. This all seems pretty good to me, honestly. I'm gonna keep watching. A lot of the things you're doing wrong are just little inefficiencies, like you're not controlling the Meepos when they're jungling, so maybe using them to poof. But honestly, your rotations are pretty good. Pushing with your team here. Had the main Meepo ready to blink. David Tower, you're gonna run 2 Meepos top. Okay.
Double damage! Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So I think the only issue I have here is that, like, you just don't need these other 2 Meepos. So, like, you have a DD. Don't overcommit heroes. This applies to, like, normal heroes, but in this case, like, you could just have 2 Meepos top right now that were farming jungle and then walking to this top creep wave. But now you just don't have them. So I think on Meepo, it's really important that you need to, like, have some semblance of, like, how many clones do I need to, like, be able to do this? And, like, if you think, like, blinking in without your clones there already is bad, then just don't blink in, right? Just walk at the tower. But you need to understand that keeping your Meepos in the jungle like this is, like, really beneficial to you. Because this TP that you're about to use isn't used. You could have just been farming these with the 2 Meepos top right now, and then had your TP still available, right? So what would have been so perfect about this was that you just did this exact move without using the TP, and you had a TP available, so you could have been farming more, or you could have like left 1 Meepo mid or something, while your 2 other Meepos were top. You could have done all this like without TPing. You could have been available anywhere on the map, and that's the cool part about Meepo. That's like the exciting part about Meepo. Okay, so you push top with your 2 Meepo. Overall, like you're definitely playing above 1.5k until you're like, you know, gonna gain MMR playing this way. Meepo's kind of a stomping hero. You are defending top. Good. Okay. Yeah, I like the way you play, man. This is good. Until you've played a pretty good amount of Meepo. I don't think you're hunting for kills too much. I think you're like making space for your Spectre. All the lanes are pretty much always pushed. So I think not leaving a Meepo top like this is like really bad. I want you to see what's happening to your team because you don't push this tower with them. This is what happens to your team because you leave with your 3 Meepos. You have your 3 kill heroes with stuns, all hitting the tower together while you're just farming a neutral camp with your 3 Meepos. You actually need to understand you are the building hitter. So if your team makes a move for an objective, you need to be the one hitting buildings on a hero like Meepo. So I need you to see at the basic level what your like efficiency plays are doing to your team. Like, is that one big camp worth taking 30 seconds of your 3 stunners time to hit that building? It's like, no, of course not. So even though it works because you're up 10k, I think this is fundamentally a very bad fight and something you guys need to always remember. I need you to look at bottom lane right now, and I need you to think to yourself, if you could just send 3 Meepos there right now based on what you see, how good does that feel? And like, if you're just pushing bottom, you don't have to fight them here at all. I want you guys to understand like impending pressure. It's like impending doom. It's like if they're taking damage on their mid tower and they're losing their bottom tower at the same time, and you just don't fight them at all, you just like win the game, right? Let them make this move. This is when kills stop being objective based. This is when kills are kills. I don't think you need to jump him like this. These are the type of kills where if you're up by like 5k, it backfires. So really something to think about there. If you're going to do that kind of shit, you should have Aegis first, especially on Meepo. Like, Meepo's probably the first or second best Aegis carrier in the entire game. So the minute you see your Spectre TP like this, you just walk away. Okay, that's what you're going to do.
It's gonna be Hook Central.
So here's your issue as Meepo and what you need to work on 100%. You have all this pressure bottom that I've told you guys is super important. Your entire team's playing around bottom. You guys can do pretty much whatever you want as long as you're together. You have 4 fucking heroes. And you leave your entire presence of bottom gone. Your 3 Meepo clones are in triangle. And your other heroes in your main base. Look at your teammates down here and what they can't do because you're not there. And all it takes is for you to leave 1 clone there. Just 1. You're playing Meepo at the efficiency farm of like, you know, everyone but the main is farming neutrals and stuff. But this needs to now start being what, like, I agree. I yell at my coaches all the time. I've had 6k, 7k players I've yelled at this too for. You just had all this pressure bottom and you could be applying pressure bottom and you just left. You literally just left. So it's like, the cool thing is, I didn't hate your TP top nearly as much as I would on any other hero, because Meepo can TP top and also still be bottom. But the fact that you also are just not bottom, it means you're not thinking about this. So I need you, at this stage in the game, maybe like 15, or like maybe 20 minutes plus, to like always be able to be with your team. Like, one of these Meepos needs to be with your team. You can't be playing the clear my entire jungle AFK farm strat. That just doesn't work. It's not how you win Dota. Eventually that stops working. And it's a really bad habit to get into. So, like, they should have died the literal second they showed bottom, rather than, like, waiting 10 or 15 because you had to run all the way there. That's an example where 1K players are going to die to you, but, like, better players aren't going to die to you. Something to think about there. But overall, like, the way you're playing the game is pretty solid. Everything's just pretty slow. And that's expected, but, like, these little conceptual things that are setting you up for success, I think will help you a lot. Leaving yourself available everywhere on the map, it's hard, man. Meepo's hard as fuck. But if you're, like, getting all the mechanics down and you're getting better at playing the hero, you'll, you know, you'll be able to think about more and more as you play. Yeah, I mean, hitting this tier 2 is just kind of pointless, right? You need the lanes to be pushed in. They choose to fight you here. Yeah, so the skill you need to work on in fights is you have like 3 really healthy Meepos and 1 really low Meepo. And you're choosing to like poof all of them back in. So it's kind of just something for you to be thinking about that you need to get a bit better at. That, like, maybe not poofing all your Meepos back in when you have one that's vulnerable. But yeah, your map movements on this game, like, in terms of showing up to fights and stuff, were really good. It's these, like, little efficiencies and, like, little lapses in time where you weren't available that you need to try to trim the fat. Because in games that are closer, those are, like, the opportunities you're going to miss for kills. That's, like, the game-winning play. The guy that needs to die doesn't die because you're a bit late. And as you climb in Mar, it's going to become, like, that window needs to be more and more crisp. When you're holding them in their base, it's really important that you, like, if we're playing the top half of the map like you're playing right now, it's really important to get in the habit to always cut the wave. So, Meepo's a bit different. You could probably TP like, your main Meepo and 2 of your clones to deal with this and then poof back to your main army. But, like, this wave that's right here on the map should be cut. It should be, when I say cut, it means you're, like, you walk out here and you kill the wave before it passes you. Because that means you're, like, controlling this entire area and you're not leaving. Like, if you go farm here, you're, like, leaving this area. So a really good habit to get into when you're playing like this on any hero, but Meepo especially, because you can do both at once, is these 3 clones, instead of jungling here, should be cutting the wave at, like, 40 seconds on the minute, right? So, like, it's just delaying your guys' progress in the game that this wave is here. It's just delaying you guys. Now Pudge comes and farms it. Luckily, you guys are really far ahead that Pudge was able to TP top, farm it, and you guys get Roche. So I think it was a bit slow on the Roche. I think I would have, like, with the lead you guys had, I would have pretty much always been playing top. Maybe had 1 Meepo bottom for ganks, like, you know, to poof to, but that's about it. So you guys end up getting Roche. Go high ground. Pick off the sniper. No buyback. Looks pretty straightforward from here. Yeah, man, it's kind of interesting. I didn't know what to expect when somebody submitted a replay for Meepo. The thing about Meepo, I feel like all these map concepts, it's literally the same shit. It's just like, you can be in 3 different places at once, so you can do so many more things with your hero. And it's really hard. I just don't have the, you know, mechanical experience, or I don't know if I have the brain power to fucking think about the way I need to think about the game of Dota as Meepo. But, yeah, I think a lot of the good things you did here, I can tell your attitude towards, like, you're thinking about the game. I can definitely tell you said you were submitting a game saying you were going to think really hard. If you played like this, you'd 100% gain MMR almost every single game. A lot of little things you can work on, though. And definitely recommend it being Meepo if you're going to work on them, because Meepo's like the hardest version of this. You also kind of spoil yourself a little bit. So, like, that TP top, I want you to know I was only okay with it because you're a Meepo. So it's, like, something to think about is, like, why I told you it's okay and what you could have been doing still. These concepts apply to other heroes too, so I don't know how much, like, what percentage of your games are Meepo, but being careful not to get into bad TP habits, because Meepo doesn't necessarily get punished the same way other heroes get punished. So, thanks for signing up, buddy. See ya.